dollars for years so that I can get rights and social media rights and digital rights for highlights and plays for our show. Because before we were on ESPN, we were on the internet. And if you look at ESPN's deal with
Chargers
the NFL, whenever they talk about the NFL on like talk shows or debate shows, whenever they would post those, they would have to put a picture over the highlight, over the video, because in the deal they don't have social rights, you can't share, blah, 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 blah. Now we've gotten to a point, obviously, with the internet where everybody who talks about the NFL rips plays and posts it, and they bury the NFL and do that entire thing. I mean, that is a rampant thing where I don't think they'll ever be able to whack them all and catch everybody that's stealing their thing, but I want them to go about doing it the right way. So I've had a business partnership with the NFL, both through the NFL Films and the NFL for years and years and years, but nobody has told these middle managers, you know, like, hey, just because he's younger than you and you think he's a dipshit doesn't mean, you know. So these conversations go, it's not just the combine was the most ridiculous, but it's not just the combine. It is a totality of this thing. So I don't appreciate it being reported as like insufficient respect at the combines. The reason it's like the insufficient respect throughout all of that shit is the reason why, including the draft.
That should be the name of a show. Like, that should be a spin-off show. Insufficient Respect. That's a great show name.
We run into a lot of it, so I could write if I need to. There's me obviously making sure there's enough space on this particular stage for us to put 4 chairs up there with some cameras. I was able to find an alternate location too, which wow, never would have guessed in an empty stadium to be able to find alternate locations. And how about this one? It's about 130 feet or so. Okay. I think we can potentially do this. So this
There's no way somebody told you there wasn't enough space. No chance.
Yeah, Jage, listen, Jage,
they did.
We get invited to go to Combine, okay, by actual people. And then like 4 days, 5 days before it all happens, like, we don't know if there's enough space. Our team has to, these people show up in an email thread that have been around for 4 months. And it's like, who are you? Who are you?
No way.
Yes, yeah. So I go down there as a smartass with the tape measure, obviously. I'm like, I'll go do this today if I need to. And I did, you know, and it's like, here we go. So it's not just about the combine. The combine was certainly, I'd say, their best work thus far. Sure. I mean, most amount of fake problems coming from people with fake power. Boom, 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 boom. But there's been a lot of this with this particular crew, and it turns out I'm not the only one who feels this way. I found out this is normally the case whenever I decide to say something, and normally I'll get a bunch of go, or. You know, that is normally the way it goes, but I'm not doing that because I do have respect for NFL in the league, in the actual people that are making decisions. It's just like any bureaucracy that you find out about. There's always people trying to hang on for dear life, trying to make sure you know who they are, and I got to be better at dealing with that. I do got to be better at dealing with that. But I think if you look through my history, I am maybe the worst in the history of dealing with those particular people. And we're going to work through it. We're going to shake their hands at some point, just like I tried with Canada, even though they don't all.
Okay.
It's an international incident.
They don't want to shake your hand. They don't want to shake your hand.
Yeah, I know. I've heard, you know. I've been getting death threats a long time, you know. The first one that I read towards my daughter, that
one, dude, that one pissed me off. Like, that was just, some people like that. There's just words that you like, no matter how angry you get, no matter how you just don't, no matter, even behind an anonymous account on the internet, you just don't say. And that really pissed me off personally.
Yeah, me too. Now, granted, Jage, I appreciate you getting pissed off. You weren't the only one. I think AJ wanted to go find guy. I mean, there's been a lot of people that are like, I had some Navy SEAL friends that are like, we can find this guy like that. And like multiple companies that I've done business with, they're like, we have surgical IP people that can find this guy's exact address if you want to. And I'm like, if we were to do that to people that said bad things or wanted to kill me, your servers would be working all day in this entire thing. But bringing up my daughter, I just want to showcase to people like the reality of the world, that I'm not the only one that gets this. I assume there's a lot of people that do. I get a lot of it, but this is the world that we live in now. And the reason why I laughed about it is because I've been getting death threats a long time. Like, I ain't scared, you know, and I do believe in the Second Amendment too. So you can FAFO if you would like to, any of you. But with the entirety of it all, let's just live, you know. And I think whenever things are taken out of context or misrepresented for what I say from these people, the people that hate me or maybe are borderline wanting to kill me, they read these things that are taken out of context and it like feeds them even more. So that's why I get so pissed off about a lot of these things. They're like, hey, that's not who I actually am. You're misrepresenting me. And do I answer all of them or do I not? And it's like, fuck them all. That's how I got to do it. But it's great to be alive.
Will you be going to the next WWE event in Canada?
I was wishing that Monday Night Raw was in there. I have a United States of America sports code that I would.
I start betting on the opposite of my first thought.
Yeah, I'm not really scared, but also like you just booed our national anthem, and then Trudeau answers. We're not
Opposite seems to be what's going on.
Really, the decisions that are being made, and I'm learning about decisions you've made, and it's like. So politically, we're going to look into every country that is going to play their national anthem at these sporting events, and then we're going to decide whether or not it's worthy of being quiet and paying respect for, or if it's booing. Okay, interesting precedent that we're setting up there, just as we go forward. That's an interesting precedent, and I don't know if, no matter how loud you say that, that's how a lot of Americans are going to take it, because I've had an American flag flying in our office since we started. Numerous different regimes from different political parties have obviously had power and made decisions. And it's like, I'm proud to be an American, brother, no matter who's running it. So if you're going to boo my country, I'm probably not going to be as thrilled. But I appreciate that you have passion for your country. Bingo. I mean, that thing's flying overhead at all times. It always has been. I mean, that is just the way this goes, let alone sitting right here. You know, I mean, this is America hat. You know, I mean, just, come on.
Whatever reasons were behind it, the animosity during the Canada USA hockey game was the best, dude. Like, I don't care what caused it. That's one of those things that I do feel like has started to go away from sports today, is that true passion, like hatred. Like, I want to win this game no matter what. Like, I feel like with fantasy football, with everything where players are fans, or fans are fans of teams from other places they don't live in. Like, it used to be like, I mean, I grew up in Wisconsin, Packers, Bears, but that one is still holding on pretty damn tight. Steelers, Ravens, that one's still holding on very tight. But like, a lot of these old school rivalries are starting to diminish a little bit because of this globalization of the game. So it felt really good, and I think that's part of the reason fans loved it so much, was the Canada USA thing was just like, hey, us, you, let's go. And then the guys just dropping, I mean,
and now we beat the fuck out of them, 3 fights in 9 seconds, which is awesome. I love that. And then we win that game, okay, and then I get real excited about Elimination Chamber in Canada, okay, especially after everything that happens. I order a couple American flag sport coats, okay, that I'm wearing right into Elimination Chamber on the back end of this entire thing. And then lo and behold, they go into Boston and they beat us and they win the whole thing. And then it's a little bit different story.
Okay, little homie.
One to win, that one back. Yeah, I actually sent to the group. We were on vacation. I was at Disney World. Put baby girl down to bed. We're just in the hotel. I'm watching that game on Thursday night, and I sent a text to the group. That is, personally, the most devastating loss that I have suffered in sports in a long time. That one, just because of how loud it got. It got so loud. We needed that one. We needed that one. Nonetheless, Canada, Canadians, sorry.
Great job. Touche.
Remember?
Touche.
Canadians. That is touche. Our sports. It is. I'm telling us that is touche. Okay, let's talk a little ball here, shall we?
Let's do it.
DK Metcalf, first and a third, $30 million a year. Debo Samuel is just traded for a 5th rounder. Obviously, there has been trades for a 1st rounder and a 3rd rounder, 1st rounder, 2nd rounder. Randy Moss got traded for a 4th rounder. We never know how, in Randy Moss, different time. I get it. Same with all these. It feels like the NFL changes literally every single offseason. The wide receiver, is it as expensive as it was whenever the running backs were worth 0, and now the running backs are worth a little bit more in the way offense? Let's go. Metcalf potential market. And how do you feel about the situation that's brewing in Seattle with him?
I think it's funny because I sit here and I watch these and I see all the discussions about it, and you see fans saying, well, Debo went for a 5th. How could you possibly ask for a 1st and a 3rd for DK? And I think that it's very easy to sit back from a fan's perspective and think that there's like a big group chat of every NFL GM who they're just saying, hey, this guy's available, this is what we want, and then everybody else. Part of what makes a great GM, part of the beauty of this league is that it's still the interpersonal relationships. It's still the little conversations on the side. I mean, we just saw it in the NBA. Somehow that Luka Doncic trade was between 2 teams and nobody else had any idea he was available. Nobody else knew that they could put in this type of offer and get him, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think we give enough credit to GMs who are either pulling off a heist or who are trying to get a heist in return, which is crazy. I agree. I think it's wild that in 2025 there's still not like a bigger system where it's like, guys, how are you still getting fleeced? Like everybody can see that these are, but that's what it is. That's what these GMs are, and a great GM is worth his weight in gold because he can find the best deals or he can get the best deals for the guys he wants to go. So, I mean, a first and third is clearly that's coming from the Seahawks. That's what they want for him, and you have to start high on a negotiating platform. I don't know if he's going for that, but like Connor says, 27 years old, fast as shit, huge, great receiver. There's a lot of teams that want him, and all it takes is one owner to become infatuated with the visualization of him on their team wearing
that field goal, little homie.
And that deal gets done.
Bingo. That's why Deshaun Watson's deal happened in Cleveland. We all assume. We all assume the
dumbest deal in NFL
once he was told that they were out of the running because remember Deshaun was looking for a trade. It was Cleveland, Atlanta, and New Orleans. Then Cleveland was ruled out of it allegedly. If we go with the tea leaves that are being kind of placed all over the place. Then it was Atlanta and New Orleans. Who's going to do it? And then all of a sudden the Cleveland Browns come back in. $230 million guaranteed. We'll even move you up here. And the entire contract is swayed in your way. We don't think Andrew Berry had the power to do that. We assume that came from over top at the ownership level. Same thing can happen at any of these positions, depending upon how hands-on all these owners are. DK Metcalf, motivated too. Motivated, fresh plays.
I'll let you get the ball, little homie.
Seattle's an interesting team just overall because, like, they're a team who very clearly can compete for the NFC West every single year. Are they truly a Super Bowl competitor right now? I don't know if they're truly at this moment, but like they're in this in-between spot where are they going to go all in? Are they going to try and do that, or are they going to retool? Mike McDonald, clearly great football coach. Very excited to see what he's going to do in the future, but interesting spot up there right now.
Brother, the Seahawks fans let other fans into their stadium for primetime games this past year. Remember? We saw the Bills fans turn it out, and then I think Green Bay was in there because normally that would be the place. Like, hey, what is the greatest environment in the NFL? It's like Seattle. You go check out Seattle. So I think there's a lot of question marks around Seattle about this new Seahawks team. They're just going to have to win. That's just what it is.
Yeah, their fans hate GM Schneider. Hate him.
Because of the Pete Carroll stuff or because of everything?
I think because of everything. I think the Pete Carroll stuff. I think some of the linemen that have gone to free agency, and I think now the DK Metcalf, from what I saw
with Lockett
yesterday with Lockett on the internet, they absolutely despise him. They're calling him a booze bag.
What? They despise the booze bag until they win again. And if they don't win, then they despise you forever. That is the game. You always have to turn over a program. And Schneider thought now was the time to get rid of Pete. Brings in McDonald.
Yeah, good luck. It seems like these teams are clearing houses right now.
Good luck, Seattle. We're pulling for you.
It's fun when they're good. I hope they're great.
So I'm expecting the Seattle Seahawks to take.
That's a great place to play, man.
I agree. I've never got to play there. I only got. Have you played? You've played up there, obviously.
Yeah, great place to play. I love playing up there.
What's Cardinals? How many times you played there?
Once.
How was it? Loud.
Yeah, it's loud. It's cool. Probably could use a little updating, but I think that's also part of the charm. But just the way it's built, like it's a really cool stadium, man. Like there's some stadiums that are just, and I love it when a stadium is on top of you. Like when it's just, it doesn't have the huge open, vast sides. And their fans are great, man. They have that one guy who sits right by the visitors' locker room, and he has a sign for every guy, and he loves to bullshit with you, so I really enjoyed it up there.
Yeah, it's an echo chamber the way they build it, straight up and down. That's what I realized when I went over there for Amazon had a game, and I went we were doing game day. Well, yeah, the West Coast there, so I flew out to hang with Herbie and Al Michaels in the booth or whatever. That was my first time in the stadium, and pregame it wasn't as filled up, but one person would yell, and you would hear the yell like 3 times, and it's like, oh, that's the game, like. It's like it's just an echo chamber in there with how loud it gets. What a weapon. They need to get back to that. The NFL needs that type of environment. Obviously, it'd be good. Good luck, and maybe DK moves on. Speaking of moving on, Charles.
Literally the fucking opposite happened.
Man.
Yeah, Jay Bosa from the Chargers after 9 years, long-ass time. Obviously, immediately people are kind of just pinning him directly to the 49ers with his brother. But what do you think about Joey Bosa being a free agent now?
Give me that shit.
What do you think the Chargers are doing?
Give me that shit.
Because Khalil Mack's
up
in the air.
Yeah, I mean, you have both of those guys on the edge who are obviously getting up there in their careers and not playing quite as many snaps maybe as they used to.
All right, my boy BZRR, go to YouTube, Residual Routes. You know what time it is. Let's go.
Pass rush at a high level.